Hi, I'm Casey with Historic Arkansas Museum, here to teach you a little bit about Revolutionary music. The Revolutionary War, we signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776, and at that time, a lot of the music we were playing, a lot of the music that was popular with American citizens, was very, very British. The tunes I'm going to play today, some of them are from that era and some of them are not, but what was very, very common was for American citizens to take songs that they liked, songs that were popular, and change them and change the words. That tune I was just playing, you might have recognized it as My Country 'Tis of Thee, but most of the world recognized it as God Save the King, or Queen in our current case. That song was not adapted to an American version until 1831. The building I'm standing in was constructed even before that. So My Country 'Tis of Thee is still relatively a new song. The next song I want to play for you is entitled Free America. Now when I play it, you may recognize it, and see if you recognize it as a British tune or an American tune. All right. Now, did you recognize that tune as Free America, or did you possibly recognize it from the Mel Gibson movie, The Patriot? It's also known as the Grenadiers' March. Around 1700, the British started using it as a regular marching tune. It's featured several times in the film as the British soldiers march down the battlefield towards the Americans. The Grenadiers' March is one that every American would have known. Just 15 years before the Revolution, during the French and Indian War, we would have been marching to the Grenadiers' March. Americans did what Americans do. We took that song, we changed the words, and we made it Free America. We made it all about us. It's still a very British tune, but we have our own words. And it became a contender for the national anthem at the time. Now, we've done two very British tunes. Let's talk about one that definitely has to be American. Let's talk about Yankee Doodle. Sorry, Yankee Doodle's still very British. Yankee Doodle was originally a British dance tune. It had very specific steps and very different words. We now know Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Did you ever wonder why he called it macaroni? In London, there was a club, and they were known for being very young men, the big wigs, the fancy clothes, the pointed shoes. They knew all the latest gossip, they knew all the latest fashion trends, and they met all the time. Their favorite food when they met was macaroni, and that became their nickname. They were the Macaroni Club. Now, Yankee Doodle. Doodle essentially is a rube, a hick, a hillbilly. So here they're saying that here comes this Yankee from America, this Yankee Doodle. He can't just stick a feather in his hat and be a Macaroni Club. No, no, no. Instead, they were singing it to make fun of us. Some of the tunes even make fun of how Americans can't dance. However, we didn't know much about a Macaroni Club. We were familiar with news across the ocean, but that wasn't really on our radar. Instead, it's rumored that at Bunker Hill, we sang and taunted the British with Yankee Doodle went to town. Now every child in America knows that tune. So here, let me play it for you. Yankee Doodle, a tune that we didn't change all that much, but we claimed it as our own. How very American. Now let's talk about the tune that is most iconic to the U.S. You'll hear it at every Olympics, you'll hear it at every sporting event, and you'll probably hear it this 4th of July. That's the Star-Spangled Banner. Now, Star-Spangled Banner is our national anthem, but it's not from the Revolution. As a matter of fact, it's from 40 years later. It was written in 1814. You might know the story of Francis Scott Key and the bombs bursting in the air. That's an eyewitness account of the War of 1812. That's very, very common. As I was working on figuring out tunes that were popular during the Revolution, a lot of the iconic patriotic tunes that we assume are old aren't from the Revolution. Americans came up with their own culture and our own tunes. Tunes like Stars and Stripes or Your Grand Old Flag, even Lift High Your Voice and Sing, are all written after 1900, hundreds of years after the American Revolution. Now, for your viewing pleasure, here is Star-Spangled Banner.